Hello and good evening. Welcome back to the final round of the Sim Hound GT3 MPG series. This is the last round of the season before we start moving on to season 5, which will be announced very shortly in the next few days. But yes, we're here at Le Mans Mulsanne. We are going to see the 2 times virtual energy and fuel usage really come into its own tonight as they tackle Le Mans without the chicanes. So, as usual, I've got Ben Myatt joining me. Good evening, Ben.
Good evening. Yes, good to be back and looking forward to this one. Good luck fuel saving tonight, guys.
Yeah, we were just having a discussion over how many pit stops they're going to need, and it turns out it's a few. So, yes, it should be really entertaining tonight. And thanks, Ben, for subscribing. Thank you.
Welcome.
We anticipate 3 stops. We haven't got Christian Piesig, so we're 99.9% sure, in line with drop rounds, that Christian has won the title already with a round to spare, with him not failing to finish outside the top 2 in any of the 5 rounds. Yeah. So. Fair enough. His fuel strategies have really been on point all season, so congratulations to Christian for the series title. What that does mean is it leaves a lot of fighting in behind here. We're looking primarily at second place, but down the order there's some very close battles for position. The one at the top for second place is between Alfie, Athol and potentially Matt Townsend, who might be able to sneak into the party. But those 3 are the ones to look out for tonight, and we're just coming to the end of qualifying, and at the minute Alfie is on provisional pole, Matt Townsend is in 3rd, and Athol is in 4th, so kind of where we expected. Big shout out to Anton at the minute. Anton up in 2nd, that would be his best qualifying as well. But, yeah, tonight, Ben, this is going to be a really difficult one with the massive straight we've got.
It is, and
you've been watching a bit of...
Anton's just pipped into 1st at the deck.
So Anton in the Lexus. But the Lexus is not as much of a straight line machine as it is in ACC, but it's certainly got the pace round Le Mans.
I really hope he's in the Mustang.
Oh, is he in the Mustang? Alright, well, I'll take it back then. I'll take back everything I just said. I've got no time for him anymore because he's not in the Lexus. Yeah, it's an interesting one tonight because some of the cars, you were mentioning some of the cars down the straight before we came on there, are looking a little bit spicy.
Yes. There's a few people who have gone very aggressive on the low downforce out there. 2 I know for sure are Dan Tomlinson and Charlie Morgan, who I clocked doing 302 and 301 kilometres down the straight, respectively, which is ridiculous speeds for a GT3 car. But they are looking a bit spicy through the Porsche curves, so it's all coming. It comes round.
But it looks like, although we've got some very fast cars on the straight, so for instance, I've got the speed stats next to me, and some of the fastest times down the straight. Dan has managed 301 in qualifying down the straight, which is quite frankly
teams and drivers
pole
go
position,
to the grid
Anton,
for a race start.
So you can see the difference in ideas behind the setups. So yes, that is the difference. But what we'll do is we'll pull up the grid and show you. Sorry you haven't seen much of it, but Anton Tomenga is on pole position with Alfie Bevan in 2nd, a long distance ahead then back to Matt Townsend, who again a little bit of a gap back to Athol in 4th. Max Farrell up there in 5th position, great qualifying for him, and same with Alan Axon up in 6th. There's the first Lexus. Zach Silva in 7th in the Lamborghini. Frayne Dorich repeating the good pace from last week in 8th. Dan Tomlinson in apparently the rocket ship McLaren in 9th position. Dave Wood in the BMW 10th. Leon Vesperas in 11th. Angela Scotti in 12th. Tyler Hammer in 13th position with Petr Jelinek, hoping for a bit of a cleaner time of it this week in 14th with the Kili Ferrari. Neat Manders in 15th. Stefan Reinhardt in the mighty Aston in 16th. Charlie Morgan in another missile car in 17th position. David Francesconi in 18th. Dave Spiller in 19th, rocking the Academy livery this time around. Olaf Badej completes the top 20. Matthias Fusigan in 21st. Florian Browse 22nd. Dean Smith in 23rd. Amadeo Piccioni in 24th. Fabio Galli.
Formation lap has started.
Blonkers back in 26th. 27th. Breeze up the grid. All 27 cars on the timing screen are in the race and are ready to go.
There's a few people choosing to start a little bit. I have just seen Dean Smith has had to pull out at the very last second. Apparently the lag, the stuttering has just ruined his ability to actually play it. So he's pulling out to rather than be unsafe on track. So fair play to him on that one. It's a longer start than usual for these guys. They start a long way back down the Porsche curves.
They do, and it's a bit of a challenge as well, because we've been used to watching Anton mid-pack most of the time, charging through, having some good results, and he's up there in first place in the Mustang, so it'll be interesting to see how he handles it. The top two were in a bit of a different world in qualifying compared to everyone else. Matt Townsend was a clear third, and then everybody else was 2 seconds behind. So it'll be interesting to see if those front two, front three start to break away. But remember, there's going to be a huge turn. Absolutely huge. Keep it clean for the first 8 corners, and you'll be on that back straight, attached in a line down the Mulsanne. So it'll be very interesting what happens. One, in the middle of the straight, and two, what happens at that braking zone at the end of it.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that might be what Dan Tomlinson is counting on. That once he gets in that turret, he's just able to blast away.
Oh, before we go round the last chicane, we're going to see bump drafting, Ben? Any bump drafting?
We did in practice. Yeah. We saw a couple of guys trying it. It's I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best way to get around. These are not machines that respond well to it, but
well, 65 minutes. 65 minutes starts now. Alfie on the left, Anton Semenga on the right. Obviously, that does even out into the top of the hill. Alfie gets the move done. Nice move there. Anton holding on to the position. We've got a bit of mess in the background, but Max is way down. So Max, with his pace, we're going to be expecting him to come back through. He's got to drop back to 14th position at the start. But it looks like, for the most part, we've got Alfie works wide. So Alfie's run out wide onto the entrance to the Mulsanne, and he's going to be absolutely swamped up by that.
Yeah, he's picked up some damage there, has Alfie. He's showing yellow on both the whether he can recover from here.
Yeah, nothing has come up on the instant tracker, so I'm wondering what we hit. At the front, in the middle now, 3 wide. That's Zach on the right hand side in the yellow Lamborghini, which is absolutely flying down the straight. It's got we're now 4 wide. What's Dave Woodward doing up there in 4th position? He's come from nowhere as well after starting, 10th on the grid. So some of these cars absolutely flying. I think Dan got chopped up straight a little bit further back. We've got a lot of time to discuss what's going on down the straight with it. But Zach is the Lamborghini, so this main pack, so you've got this front pack of 9 as they come into the braking zone. I think that's has outbraked himself. We've got someone else outbraking themselves as well. We will have a little look at that. That's Alfie. So Alfie in further strife here. He's going to be right at the back of the field. Hopefully he's managed to keep it on the coming out. Very much not kept it out of the wall, and I think that is it. He hit that wall, didn't he?
He's got a dead engine. He is out.
So we were talking about the fight for second position at the start of this. and both remain contenders for seconds are either out or at the back of the field. Alfie's in the back now, with supposedly a bit of damage as well.
It's no longer a little bit of damage. He's carrying some suspension damage on that car. It's not much, but he's definitely left-hand down in the straight line.
I wonder if he's going to try and go as far as possible to make sure he's not. Yeah, we will have a look back on that. I've got a couple of replays stacked up for those two incidents. We will have a look back once we kind of get through the first lap. Zach at the front, and then it's a massive train of cars. Second to 17th, around 4/10 apart each car, maybe a little bit more here. You can see the train of cars, the tow really bringing the cars together, and I think the incident together a little bit. So yeah, Zach leading the way as we come up to the final complex, but some big winners there, Ben. We've got Tomenga still in second, Townsend still in third, and then we've got Dave Wood up to fourth, Dan Tomlinson up to sixth, and Angela Scotty up to seventh.
It has been a bit chaotic down into the end of the Mulsanne Straight there, but it is Zach Silver. He might came up from fifth on the Mulsanne Straight to first, just driving in that pack of cars. And now it's trying to edge away against that lead, but Tomenga can close up a couple more attempts, and if they get into the Mulsanne Straight, he's going to be right in the back of that Lamborghini, down into the hairpin.
We could probably watch two of the replays while they're going down the Mulsanne Straight. Let's just see if we can see any cars that are really closing up, because the gaps have spread out a little bit through time distance, and then they're going to be on the back of all of the tires. Zach has a lead of about 6/10, but obviously still towing along Anton, and then behind you can see Matt Townsend leading a little bit of it in charge.
He's actually trying to make a move,
yeah,
but the sheer straight line of Pat McLaren.
And then Dan's put the throttle down.
They are 295. They're up to 296 kilometres an hour, and they've still got plenty of straight to go. I think Scotty, with a bit of luck, might be able to get down on the brakes here, because without the rear wing, that McLaren's not going to stop as well as the AMG behind it. But they're already right on the back of this car. There was a 2-second gap in front of them as they went onto the Mulsanne, and they're now right up on the back of Alan Axel in fifth.
This is Dave not caring about the fact that Matt Townsend was obviously in the final top 2 in the championship. Really having a look, and look at Anton on the outside as well. I think he's going to get blocked off by Matt there, and Matt's going to hold to the inside line as we come down towards Indianapolis. And they all kind of maintain their position as we come through. Expect that Scotty will be all over Dan shortly. With what we would guess is more error on the Mercedes. We'll just have a quick check of this, and then we're going to go back and have a little look. Hopefully the audio is a little bit better. I have turned, the cars are apparently very loud at Le Mans, so I have turned them down a bit. They're getting quite close to the cameras. But this is Dan right on the back. Doesn't look too bad for the Porsche for the first entry here, and kind of pulling in behind. Scotty looking absolutely planted in the Mercedes, so.
It's you can see Dan having to balance the throttle on the telemetry just to keep that McLaren from snapping on him. It's definitely not as happy through the Porsche curves as it is on the Mulsanne Straight, but it's got enough that he can keep up with the cars in front, and that's all he needs to do. He just needs to be close enough by the time they hit the Mulsanne again.
Well, we're going to have a little look back and see what happens. So we're going to go back first of all to Ator. So this is Ator, and I think what we're going to see is a lock or just a little bit too on the brakes on the outside line, and it has just spat that well. Yeah, there's no getting away from that. That was as we see Alfie fly past, which we will have a look at in a second. That was really unfortunate for him because it's very difficult on that outside line, especially at those speeds.
It's not an easy place. It's the fastest these cars are going to be going at any point this season.
Well, Alfie's done well to get away with a little bit of damage there. You could see he was 3 wide approaching the corner, and just got a little bit late, squirrely on the brakes, a bit late on the brakes. That definitely looks like a handful. You're totally right, left hand down. So he's still running though, 21st.
Yeah, if he can make it to that first pit stop, which is not going to be too far away at the amount of fuel these guys are using, he'll be able to repair and still be able to salvage a good chunk of race.
Yeah, there's plenty of time left in this, and as Anton is having a look for the lead, so the straight line of the Mustang really coming into its own. Currently the top speed is around 5k faster for Anton than Zach. He has been in the tow for most of the race, so that might be why, but Anton using that straight line speed, then he should have this kind of sewn up before they get into the braking zone. Zach might try and hang it on the outside, but we've seen he's coming back. A little bit of side draft maybe? He's come back.
Possibly.
He's still trying to keep it on the outside, but it looks like Anton's going to get the corner closed off. As long as he can get a nice clean exit, he's got the job done. Whether Zach can come back at him, we will wait and see.
Yeah, he is sat right in the draft there. It's difficult to decide which direction to go as you come down to Indianapolis. You can feel like you want to kind of make the corner shorter by sticking to the right, but if you do that, you're giving up the inside into the chicanes.
Yeah, as ZK Sim Racing is saying, dirty air is a thing in LMU, and it absolutely is. I can only imagine what it's like for those drivers running the lower wing, approaching the big braking zones with a massive loss of front aero, trying to turn in, and that's one of the factors that they won't really have seen in practice or qualifying that they'll be encountering now, especially if they're 3rd, 4th, 5th in line in a long queue. There's Elvin. Elvin's going to go back across the track. Doesn't collect anyone. It looked like he's had an incident at Indianapolis. Lost the rear wing and then has lost it on the exit. Oh dear. I hope you're not flashing from the stream, Elvin. Stop watching the stream and get the damn car back. Fair play to you.
These two, Zach and Anton fighting up front, it's starting to bring Matt Townsend and Dave Wood into the fight for the lead.
Yeah, very good. I mean, if we're looking at as we previously mentioned, virtual energy, nobody's really going to be able to do any fuel saving here. We're expecting 4 to 5 laps. As Zach's dropped it at the chicane. Can he mop it up? Oh, he's just clipped the end of the wall. He should be able to rejoin without much damage, but he is going to lose quite a few spots. Just rejoining, just about safe enough. And he's dropped down to 8th place. That's a real shame for Zach, because he was doing really well up there. But again, very, very tricky in these cars that they've really been quite aggressive with in terms of setup. And you're right, both the BMWs now looking very nicely set. Inton behind Anton using that draft.
Yeah, this is going to be a big slipstream fight right down the Mulsanne straight, I suspect. Dave Wood's very much in the box seat here.
Yeah,
he can stick behind. Runs a little wide.
Well, he's going to take the instant points on that, I think, with the penalty points. They do only get 4 total points, so it can range from anywhere from 0.25 for a cut up to about 1.52 if you decided to cut an entire corner. So they do have plenty to play with, but we have seen drive-throughs previously, and with so many cars running so little downforce, I think today might be the day, even on this track with a big straight, but you see some drivers maybe having to take it easy with regards to track limits later in the race.
Absolutely.
Anton's made up Matt's catching back up, but I mean the exit from onto the Mulsanne from Temenga, very good in the Mustang.
Matt's definitely coming in there. He's got about 4 kph advantage over Temenga in the draft. It's the outside as they come down to the Mulsanne hairpin.
Watch out as well for Dave in behind. So Dave might look up the inside of this because Matt is going to get forced out onto the outside at the end of the straight, which we are coming to right now. Dave not quite close enough to have a look, but Anton protecting the inside, getting the power down, shuts the door, and then we're back into the drafting once again.
Good defence. If you put the car on the inside, made him go the long way round, and without being able to get clear of him, he had no choice but to back out.
Well, I'm just laughing at Dean saying, but he'll crash. He normally does. Yes, Dave does like a crash, but hopefully today, like last week, he can get through without sparking into the wall. But the BMW and the Fords looking very planted. They've got they seem to have a nice balance between top speed and aero for downforce for the sections. So hopefully that can continue for all three of them. Dan Tomlinson up to 4th and Scotty following him through up to 5th as well. So
those two, the BMW and the Ford, and I'd say the Aston as well, in that probably some of the most stable cars in the game. So if you've got that stability, you can lean on them, you can push on the tyres, and it won't come back to bite you as much. So the BMW is renowned as being the best GT3 for someone starting out. Definitely chasing their way around at the moment, trying to just find some way to get past.
Yeah, it looks like Anton's very solid through the Porsche curve, so he's pulled out a little bit of a gap as well. So he's obviously running a fair amount of aero, knows how to get the car through there. And Dave catching up to Matt further back. They've got 3-4 seconds back to Dan Tomlinson, who's then in front of this next queue of cars you can see in the background, as they're all towing each other along as well, and that kind of goes all the way back to 10th. So we've also got our first pit stop, so Stefan Reinhardt is in already. That might be for a little bit of damage.
I think it might just be a touch. He's getting out of the way. Everyone should be in at the end of the next lap. So I think we're going to see a mad dash for the pits at the end now.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. We've just picked up on Petter, who I think's had a little incident and looking a little bit loose, so back in 22nd place. And Elvin has pitted and is back out on track. We've lost 3 cars so far, and also Paggioni is in the pit lane with what we can assume is damage a couple of laps down as well. So we've lost a few. Obviously Dean didn't start, and unsure about Florian, as he did qualify but didn't appear to start either. So, and if he did, he had an incident, and we've missed that, unfortunately. But yeah.
The person with the biggest fuel advantage is, I'd say Tyler Hammond's just done a pit stop, so that doesn't count. But Scotty is about 10% higher than everyone else. That's a good half a lap. That could come into play as we get closer to the end and she's able to do shorter pit stops, especially up here in the top 5.
Yeah, I think Angela looks like she's playing it smart and keeping in the tow. She's not. You saw her get really close to the back of down and then just back off a little bit. Wonder if she's just saving a little bit of fuel to try and save a bit of time in the pit stops. Although we're not sure, we know that they won't be able to save enough fuel to save pit stops. Obviously, being static in the pit lane for as little amount of time as possible is huge here. So if you can save even a little bit of fuel and keep your pace up, you're going to save, well, seconds. It's not going to be a second. You are going to save seconds in the pit stop. They're using about 18% of their VE per lap. So you can see that's a 5-lap stint for most people. And yeah, if you're saving half a lap's worth of fuel, You won't make up an extra lap, but you'll be saving quite a long time in the pit lane as well. So it'll be interesting to see when all of these. Remember, there's contact in the pit lane, and so everybody's going to be piling into the pit lane on the same lap, which is going to be very interesting. How aware are people of the cars that are coming down the pit lane? Because the game won't stop you from pulling out in front of someone in this. And we have
There's always
seen before,
someone. There is always some.
I think Dave's had a little bit of a moment. He's just dropped back this lap a couple of seconds off the back of Matt Townsend, who's still within a second of Anton up front. And before we enter the pit lane, Dan Tomlinson and Scotty at fourth and fifth, Axon Stark in sixth, Leon in seventh, Max Farrell in eighth, Zach Silva in ninth position with a little bit of damage. I think that's just costing him a bit of pace now. And our top 10 is finished off by Nick Manders. I do want to point out that Nick is up 5 places, Charlie in 11th is up 6 places, and Christian Slink in 15th is up a brilliant 12 spots. So some big winners out of this so far as we enter in the pit lane.
Absolutely.
Ooh, that's yep. That's the scenic route through the gravel there for Anton. But Angela thinks she can do another lap, Ben.
She just about can. She's going to cross the line with 1.1 laps worth of VE left on the current usage. However, whether she'll be able to... That fuel usage she has is based on what she's been doing in the tow of Dan Tomlinson's car. Whether it's... She's going to have to do a bit of lift and coast around this to get back, and I wonder if that might compromise her a bit.
Yeah, well, if she can do it, then fantastic, because it's really going to make that last pit stop a lot shorter than everyone else. So it looks like she's trying to save as much fuel in the tow of people through the race until we get to the last stint where she can try and save time. You can see people starting to rejoin, and Anton leads us away. You can see Dave with a nice pit stop for him right on the back of Matt Townsend now. But the order shouldn't really change in these exchanges. The gaps might, but everybody will be putting in the same amount of fuel, and I don't think anybody will be changing tyres in this race. So they might change the fronts or the rears or the lefts or the rights to try and save the time, to not use all the time, but I don't think it's worth it.
Dave Spiller is parked across the final chicane briefly, coming in, trying to get into pits with no wing and 3 wheels.
Oh no! Well done, Dave, for getting it back. But the incident tracking is, let's just say, a little bit finicky at Le Mans, because apparently he hasn't had an incident, but we can clearly see that Dave has hit something pretty hard, given how he's not massively far away from the pits when you picked him up. It might have been at the Porsche curves. So well done for Dave for getting it back, but that's going to take a little bit of time to repair.
Yeah, I love that the track has looked at the BMW with no ring and no front left wheel and gone, yeah, that's working.
Yep, I don't see anything wrong with that. There was one other car, Ben, that is doing another lap, and that is Tyler in the Mercedes as well. So the other Mercedes. So we haven't got Chris Bell here this week, who would be the 3rd Mercedes driver, but it looks like Fusigan is in the Mercedes as well and did pit. So Tyler's a long way back, but it looked like
Tyler's running out of sequence. He appears to have already pitted. He's still on 56% VE.
So he might be trying to do this the other way round to Scotty then. Maybe he got a little bit of an issue early on, decided to pit, and is going to try and get to the end on 2 stops from that point onwards. Because yeah, you're right, he is a long way back, and if I click on the pit strategy, yes, he already has pitted, and he was stationary for 22 seconds rather than 36 seconds, which other people
that's
unless he's
just enough to fill up the well, I think it was fix and enough to re-top up the fuel tank, because you might as well do that at the same time.
Yes. We do have a penalty. Olaf Badej has a penalty. I would assume that is for speeding in the pit lane. So just be aware of that, and so they'll be taking a drive-through for that shortly. But it looks like everybody else has got through the pit lane phase without incident, and the order has not really changed. We'll await and see where Scotty comes out, because that will be the big factor here. How much fuel did she have to save, and how much has that affected her lap time on that last lap? Because you're totally right, Ben. She didn't have that toe that she'd been relying on for the last 5 laps, so she would have had to naturally do a little bit more saving herself rather than just being able to lift down the straights.
Absolutely. She came in with 2% VE left, so it's going to be a long stop. She is right down to the basically the car was sipping as it came round the corner there. But, if she's able to get enough fuel in the car, she's going to come right out in that battle with a full extra lap's worth of fuel to play with.
Yeah, and Anton here. I know Tyler's showing in second, but obviously a little bit out of sync here. Anton has pulled out a 2-second gap against Matt Townsend, so a really good pit stop phase for him. As Scotty comes down the pit lane, is going to come up to the pit line right here, somewhere. There it is. And she was fighting with Dan Tomlinson, who is just coming past now. So a little bit of time lost, we would assume, just to make it on the fuel, but that will come back in, I'm sure, later in the race. If Angela's able to run 2 laps, 3 laps less fuel than everyone, that is a massive amount of fuel.
Yeah,
that's 50% less fuel.
Yeah, that last stop's going to be about half a tank less on that maths, and that'll say that's a short amount of time that you're going to be able to catch up on everyone else. All you need to do, really, if you're playing that game, is keep in touch with the guys in front.
Exactly, and Leon would be a good one to try and hold on to. We know Leon's quick, so if she's able to get into the toe of Leon, then that would be fantastic. As we've got Scrub with an interesting rejoin. I'm sure it was safe, but that was very close. Just losing it onto the start of the Mulsanne straight, and we will have a little look at to see what happened. I am seeing a bit of contact for Alpha somewhere, which I think was in the pit lane. It's just going to get a little bit loose, just a little bit out wide. He did really well at not hitting anything until he did hit something, and yeah, that's a fairly good whack. That would have been contact without that car running out wide to avoid him. So Frank Dorich lucky to not get collected, but Nick is now going to have to he's now going to have to come all the way back to the pit lane. Hopefully he realises there isn't a rear wing, otherwise he's going to have a hell of a time when he gets down to the bottom of the Mulsanne.
I do wonder if Nick is trying the low downforce configuration as well.
Yeah, this is low downforce to the max here. I don't think this one's going to get through the Porsche curves in one piece. So hopefully he's realised. Otherwise, the rear is about to overtake him.
Porsche 911 and a sketchy rear end. Name a more iconic combination.
Yes, I think Nick's out. I'm wondering if he knew. But
yeah,
have you just seen that?
Big hit. Yeah, I've got it on the repeat screen.
So I'm not sure. I've realised I haven't shared my screen, which is why you're a little bit behind. Sorry, everyone. I was a bit rushed after work and things today, so I'm slacking. Here you go.
Thank you very much.
So Anton has made his way past Tyler, as you'd kind of expect with Tyler running in the mid-pack, and Anton our pole sitter. But Tyler will try and use this now, try and stay as close as possible, try and get a bit of a toe to help his strategy later on. Matt Townsend 2.5 seconds behind the leader, with Dave Wood a further 2.5 seconds back.
Tyler's out of sync by a lap, but if anything, that's giving him a little bit of pace, because he's a little bit lighter than Temanga up front.
Yeah.
So he's able to keep in touch.
Well, it's the same with, we saw Stefan have to pit early as well, so he's slightly out of sync and he's up in ninth position. So maybe dodging a bit of the traffic and in the pit lane and running a little bit lower fuel compared to others at different times is kind of keeping him in the hunt here, because he's right behind Max Farrell in the tow and running similar lap times. So it'll be interesting to see how it works out for those two later on, with whether they have to do a splash at the end or whether they're able to just do their pit strategy just slightly different to everyone else.
Just to reiterate the fact that Scotty's determined to prove us wrong that you can feel safe at Le Mans, everyone in the top 6 is running at an average of 17.6% fuel usage per lap or higher. Scotty is running at 16.2.
Wow. And that's without a tow right now as well. So obviously she's channeling her inner Christian Kiesig right now. and is we know the Mercedes is pretty good on the old fuel saving when you fuel save. If you don't fuel save with it, it is very heavy on fuel. But if you do allow some fuel saving, it responds very well to it, especially it appears with this 2 times fuel usage as well. So I've just seen Scrub in chat. Well, I was fast on the straight for about a minute. Yeah, I wonder what I wonder what speed you actually hit going down the straight. I think it might have been 300 without a rear wing, which would be pretty impressive.
He just wants that speed record, doesn't he?
I'm just going to flip forward because Leon is staring at the back of Dan Tomlinson's car now. He's caught right up. I'm not sure how fast this Porsche is on the straight, or whether it's making up all of its time in the corners.
This Porsche's doing 293 and I clocked it at 296 before there's a couple of little up and down slopes on the Mulsanne that are affecting it by about 2 kilometres an hour either way, but I clocked it at 296 there briefly.
Well, he's probably loving it right now, because we're from previous races that I've seen and done, the Porsche's not particularly great down the straight from memory. So he's probably loving this right now that he's in the tow, and he's probably green or purple on the dashboard compared to his other lap times. We'll really see it come into its own when we hit the corners, and the Porsche kind of comes alive a little bit. But as you can see, Dan just gapping him a little bit down the next straight as we go down towards Indy. Porsche very good on the brakes. Well, that's evidence if you needed it right there, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just able to keep rising close. Oh, you know, it's a weird thing. I don't like Porsche road cars, but I really love a racing Porsche. They look so good.
Yeah, it's
just a thing.
It's usually me and Ollie just messaging each other when there's a new Porsche livery come out, because he loves the Porsche so much. It looks like a race car. I don't know how else to put it. The Porsche just looks like a race car.
Yeah,
they always
absolutely. Tyler Hammer will be in this lap. He's just coming up to the pit entrance now. And that will clear Matt Townsend to chase off after Anton Temanga.
Yeah, it'll be interesting then if Tyler can make it to the end on one more stop. I think he could with some fuel saving.
Yeah, about 8 more laps. It says 5 laps in the tank. It really is 4 and a bit. He could do it, and that could be enough to put him in a really good position.
Yeah, he's really far up there. He has got 2 full stops now. He's got 1 more full stop of fuel after this one. So some of the others might be able to run a shorter last stint. So that would bring them back into contention. But he's really brought himself up there if he's able to make the strategy work. Not really being in traffic.
Stefan Reinhardt in as well, and Alan Axon is nursing a drive-through penalty. I think that's our first track limits ping of the night.
Yes, I think that will be a track limits one. I haven't seen Alan. It's saying 2 stops. Has he maybe spread into the pit lane with some damage? Maybe. Because he has I'm now looking frantically at my yellow flag things, but I don't seem to be. I think he might have sped into the pit lane then. With some
Yeah,
damage,
that will do it.
but either way, this is Francesconi with Charlie Morgan, and Charlie now a little bit behind the McLaren as the McLaren races away down the back straight. The absolute missile. I'm assuming David is also running some fun low wing as well.
Yeah. I'm wondering at this point who has gone the low wing route and is just sacrificing the Porsche curves to try and maximise their position. But it's working out for Dan Thompson. He's up to 4th.
Yeah, he is. He absolutely is, and it is looking very tight indeed. We have got a yellow flag. I'm not sure where that is. It might have been Elvin, who's just rejoining, I think. It's just dropped a couple of spots. But yeah, we were just looking at the back. So this is Tyler. So he's done his early pit stop. So he's done 2 stops already. But what this has done is brought him out into a little bit of traffic. Him and Fusagan aren't really in the same race. But Fusagan by no means is entitled to get out of the way. It'll be interesting to see if Tyler wants to try and send it around the outside, and then Fusagan might try and just follow him around and use that toe. But yeah, very interesting.
He's thinking about it in a big way there. Yeah. No, it tucks back into the toe there. And Fusagan, I assume, is just going to cover that inside, block Tyler from but that. Trying for the slingshot there around the outside.
Yeah, he's giving it another go. Fusagan will be careful on the ease inside and does let him go. So he's going to try and, well, I said does let him go. Tyler's managed to outbrake himself. To be honest, if I was Matthias there, I'd be like, can you just hurry up and get this done, please, so I can just follow him around. But Tyler's going to have another go at that one. That's why he made it look so easy. He was a little bit too late on the brakes, Tyler.
And this is actually bringing Christian Schlink into it behind it. Looks like Christian has changed back to the Porsche for this week, presumably because his AMG is still in orbit somewhere.
Yes.
He's looking at the 2 AMGs in front and getting flashbacks. He's just able to follow. He could nab a couple of places here. He's not. They're a little out of sync on fuel, but Tyler's just going to try and tuck in and keep behind them on this one.
As we go to the front, Anton still leading the way then. He's now got a 4-second gap, so he's really made this work. He's broken the toe from behind after the pit stop and has showed that the pace he's got really was enough in qualifying to get pole position, and he's absolutely motoring on. We're going to have a bit of a pickle when it comes to trying to work out positions here, Ben, because Matt Townsend is going to score, and he's going to score, but is he going to score enough to drop to get past Athel and Alfie? I'm not sure. I can have a little look at the scoring.
Very close.
I think with second place he's going to get 72 points, so that would be enough with a DNF for Athel. And where is Alfie right now? Is Alfie out? Alfie's out.
Oh, Alfie is out.
Alfie's out as well. So Matt can.
Yeah, I think he's going to. Because
I don't want to say he can cruise around, but I'm pretty sure with 72 points he's going to go straight up into second. Christian Kiesig will finish on 372 points, and Matt Townsend will finish on 317 points, if my quick math is okay.
That would be my guess as well, because they dropped rounds for Alfie or a DNF, so that's not going to affect any of his scores anyway.
No, and
an 18th for
Athel will overtake Alfie for third, because Athel's dropped round currently is an 18th position, which is 26 points. So that will come into effect, and yes, so it will be Christian with the season win, as we know, Matt Townsend in second, and Athel in third position. Matt could actually finish a couple of places down and still finish still finish well. I think anywhere from somewhere like 5th above, he will still get second in the championship. So, but this race right now is really bringing Anton into it. He's going to cement 5th place and potentially get past Alfie. Actually, I think he might sneak past Alfie.
I think he will actually, because his last one's going to be a DNF as well.
Yeah, and then Dan Tomlinson will cement his 6th place as well. So great for him. Tyler as well up there. We're not sure where Tyler's going to finish at this point with his strategy where he is, as he's having a look around the outsiders again at the same spot as last lap. Can he get it stopped this time? Yes, he can. Matthias will be like, thank you. Right now, just drag me around, please. And if you're slower than me, I'm not going to be happy.
Right. We are starting to see the strategy coming into play. Temenga will be in this lap, as will Townsend and Dave Wood and Dan Tomlinson. Scotty is still showing two laps of fuel on board as she comes into the Porsche curves, so she'll be able to get another extra lap out of this.
Yes, it does look like that extra lap of stints. That last stop then will be extremely short for Scotty compared to everyone else. We're looking at around 50% of the fuel tank less at that point if she can continue this trend. So there's time to make up. We've seen how much time Christian made up at one of the races, wasn't it? He made up about 9 seconds in the last stop at one of the races. So, well, one of the 2-stop races, wasn't it? So it was a large amount of time that you can make up if you hit your marks in the pit lane and don't get your speeding penalty really quite aggressive on the pit lane entry. With a shorter stop time as well, you can really gain a lot of time.
I think Scotty might be able to do 2 extra laps here, which will mean she's only got 1 more stop to do.
Well, and also Leon is trying to do an extra lap distance. He crossed the line though with 15.3% VE.
That's going to be
very extremely tight.
He's averaging 17.2%.
Yeah, he's probably going to be trying to be half throttle down half the straight in the toe here. He's probably thought, I've got an opportunity here to follow Scotty around the lap. I'm just going to sit here and try and save as much fuel as possible and try and make a lap's worth of fuel up. But very high risk, but high reward in the sense it could gain him a couple of spots. Anton already out of the pits.
Yeah, that's. It felt like a quick stop there. It was just straightforward. It's fuel in and go.
Yeah, it was. Maybe it felt a bit shorter because the pit lane wasn't as jammed this time. The grid's kind of separated out a little bit since the first stop. But Tyler is now within sight of Dave, so has lost a little bit of time, maybe in slower traffic in his different stint. But if he can get in the toe of Dave, he'll be able to use that as a little bit of a marker, really, to try and get around as quickly as possible. I'm fascinated by this from Leon, given that his average is in the 16s. In this stint, he's been in the 16s with fuel, so he pitted along with everyone else at that first stint, but then he's trying to drag it out in the second one.
He's showing 0.3% of a lap's worth of fuel of virtual energy left, and they've not even reached the Porsche curves yet. I don't think he's going to make it.
It's going to be extremely close. What's the penalty then for if he goes over his virtual
stop
energy?
Go 30.
It's a stop go 30. So it's a big risk.
Yeah.
For a few seconds reward. Maybe he's just set himself a little challenge.
Oh, he might. No, that's. No, he's not going. Not a chance is he going to make it into the pits at this point. 2.7% VE as they come down to the Porsche curves.
I kind of want you to have to eat your words now. I want him to just cruise. You can actually see he's really starting to lift a bit heavier than he was.
Oh.
That's a wheel off, that's a rear wing.
that's
So that is what happens if you're lifting at a place that you haven't lifted before. I fear he's maybe
the car went
lifted.
right on it.
Yeah, he's maybe lifted on the entry to
He's
try and
killed
save
the
some
engine.
fuel, and that
It's
is,
gone.
yeah, that's it. That's such
Yeah.
a shame. So Leon out of this one, having a really good performance as well today. Kind of, he's had some disappointing races, but then managed to finish fourth in the last one after some DNFs. So unfortunately, he's back in the world of DNFs, I'm afraid.
Scotty is doing another lap. She's on exactly 1 lap's worth of VE.
Wow.
A little bit of fuel save, she'll make it round. And that will give her... That will mean that she won't need to stop again when everyone else will. She could be playing an absolute blinder here.
So we didn't think they could do a 2-stopper, did we?
Yeah.
But it turns out that as long as there's no extra lap, Angela, well, even that, I think Angela's absolutely smashed it.
Yeah. All week long I've been going, good luck fuel saving, and now she's going to do it, isn't she?
Yeah, she's going to do it. So she's got a 44-second lead, which, with 1 pit stop each to do, I can't see how Anton's going to catch up. Anton admittedly has a very short pit stop at the end of the race, because we thought he was going to be pretty much full tanks when we were thinking about it, but actually it's turned out that it's 3 full tanks and then maybe half a tank.
Yeah.
So it does make sense that Scotty's able to potentially save a stop. It's just going to be very close at the end, and it does depend on how long Tamenga spends in the pit lane.
Yeah, exactly. It's that time on pit lane that's going to be the killer. It's not the longest pit lane in the world, but those chicanes on the way in, that it will give you penalties if you go over the white line. They will be the bits that will slow the car right down.
Well, what this does mean is that Tyler is not going to have to do an extra stop with the cars around him, so that early stop is not going to cost too much time, which is good. And the same with Stefan as well, who had to make a little bit of an earlier stop. He's also only got 1 more stop after this one to make the end of the race, so his possession up in 10th is looking good as well, with a good gap behind them as well. So those cars that did have to pit early, whether it was with damage or a little bit of an alternate strategy, are looking good right now, as Alexon is having a look at the outside of Francesconi. That's going to be a very brave one, but decides to slot in. This is Alan, kind of after his penalty and incident. I think there was an incident in there somewhere. He's working his way back through the field, currently in 16th. I'm just going to change subject for a minute. DNFs. Last week we thought we were like, oh, there was only 3 DNFs, and it was the week before, wasn't it? Was it Spring, where everybody was trying to run as much straight line speed as possible, and we had quite a few instances. Francesconi pits, Alan Axon inherits 15th place. How many DNFs are we up to today?
We're about 8 DNFs, I think.
Yeah, so Dean didn't start.
6 attrition DNFs and 3 non-starters.
Yeah, three non-starters. Yeah,
so 9 in total.
There's been some pretty big moments.
It's end of term, isn't it? Everyone's pushing hard to. Everyone's going nuts.
This is Angela then. So with 18 minutes to go, she is going to make her last stop right now. You'll see her peeling off into the pit lane, and this is for the win. She's got a 44-second lead still, so Anton not catching over this lap. So she is looking good, as long as no speeding penalties or anything like that. Very careful on the entries. She doesn't really need to push it at all. And it's going to come down pit stop, have pit lane, have a pretty much a full tank. And
that's see her through finish. 1.6% left in the VE she had there.
Well,
so this will be a longish stop.
The lap times are 3:50. Her last lap was the last laps are around the mid 340s, aren't they? 346. I think the fastest lap's 344. So she is going to need 5 laps of fuel, which we know she can get from here on in. So there's not going to be any concern over the extra lap or anything like that at the end.
Yeah, let's see how much it reads her as having. 4.8 laps she's come out, so she's still planning for a little bit of fuel saving here. Just to see her through to the end.
Well, she's coming out, so yeah, she can afford it. Is it full? Is it filled VE, or is it doesn't need
85% she went up to.
Okay.
So she's been doing the maths, hasn't she? She's been checking the figures it gives her and
that's
gone
properly
right.
sweating. I think we can put that down to properly sweating. If you were thinking safe, you'd go, there's 5 laps and I'm going to use 19% max.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put in 95% or whatever. But no, Angela is properly pushing it to make sure. But
She's right behind Dan Tomlinson. If she can catch up to the back of Dan Thompson, she'll save fuel and keep her speed up.
Yeah. Well,
it's going to be a bit close as to whether she can actually close up to Dan before they get to the end of the Mulsanne.
Well, I do wonder what Anton and Matt are going to think about that up front in the top 2, and then suddenly they're going to come out of their final pit stop and be 30 seconds behind Scotty.
You'd be annoyed, wouldn't you?
Yes.
After all of that.
But this is one of the things with the 2% usage, and I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it really does open up some fuel saving strategies like this, because any fuel saving you do is amplified massively. So, you know, that's what she's able to do. Charlie flashing the camera. Well done, Charlie. Back up into 15th place.
I mean, we've seen people go the other way of their strategy and just go pure pace, build enough of a gap to offset the pit stops as well. And it's been really good to watch people trying different methods of winning races this season.
Yeah, we've seen. We saw Alfie do it, didn't we? Quite recently. Was it Sabine where
both the last 2 races, Monza and Sabine
went mad, just putting in sprint lap after sprint lap to try and make up as much time as possible, rather than worry about fuel saving. And it worked in that instance, but I guess around here with it's such a heavy amount of fuel they're using, and VE is what usual anywhere from 17.5 up to about 19%, when Scotty's going rounds at 16.5 or whatever it was.
I mean, it all adds up. So that's what 2%. So that's 10% per stint she's saving. And it doesn't sound like much, but it's at 20. Given it's 20% for a lap, give or take, that's you're saved within 2 stints. And it's just doing the maths sometimes works. It's not one that I do. It's one that a lot of people. There's a reason I mainly do sprint races, but it's certainly something that works very well on things like on games like LMU and in GT3 based racing.
Well, I'm a big fan of endurance racing, more of an endurance racer, so that means yes, I'm all about that fuel saving life, which is kind of why I was a bit gutted not to be doing this one this season, because this would have been right up my street, I think. But it definitely has opened up, because one of the things is you think actually running low downforce as well actually saves you fuel, right? So you can go faster on the straights and save some fuel by running downforce, but then we have seen quite a high attrition rate, because you know the cars are slipperier for a lot of people. And that, I think we've really seen that amplified this season, and with the admittedly Christian has Christian has dominated the series with his results and the way that he can drive that car, but we've seen ups and downs for all the drivers, like Anton leading the race here. This is the first time he's led all season, and what's his best result so far? He's a 5th place. So he's finished 2 5th places, a 10th and a 12th, and he's finished. So he's on for a 2nd place here, which is an amazing result. So pole position and 2nd position in the race.
Yeah, and he's I've got a feeling he's going to be a very disappointed boy when he comes out of that third pit stop. But it's going to be. He's done everything he can this race, really.
Yeah,
Short
absolutely.
of working out down to the milliliter how much fuel was going in for the rest of the race, like some people do.
Well, Tyler's
But,
completed his last stop. So Tyler is out in 7th position after his final stop. So there was a decent gap between Max Farrell and Fran Dorich. There was a 40-second gap. Tyler's just about beat Dorich out of the pit lane. Dorich still with 1 pit stop to go, I think. Just one.
Tyler's also put in about an extra lap's worth of fuel than he needs to get through the race, so he can actually go hell for leather now
Yes.
and just
So
absolutely try and light up the timing boards.
Dorich behind is trying to fuel save by the look of it, but he crossed the line with 50% VE, which is just over 3 laps, and there's 4 laps for him. So he's going to be a lap short, unfortunately. So he's going to have to pit again for one more stop. So most cars are going to basically end up fueling for 2 laps, isn't it? They're going to pit and put 2 laps of fuel in, and that will make it to the end for them. So that is going to be a very short stop, but I just don't think it's going to be short enough at all to defend from Scotty here. It's quite a time loss in the pit lane.
Not at all.
And Scotty's only 21 seconds off the lead.
The only concern I have with Scotty is she's still set herself up to have to do a little bit of fuel saving, which I know she's been doing it all race, but now I'd have gone the other way. I'd have done what Tyler does, put in a bit extra so you can go pure pace for the end. But she's probably worked out she just needs to stay close enough.
Absolutely. With a 20-second lead, I still think Angela's going to have a 10-second lead with 2 laps to go,
Yeah.
which I think is more than sufficient. Angela's fastest time is of 3:46.2. Anton's is a 3:44.5. I'm not sure when that was done, whether it was done in a tow or not, but to be fair, Angela was having some pretty decent tow round the lap as well.
Right, Manga is coming in this lap. So that's
pitting early.
possibly slightly early. Is he trying to offset, perhaps?
Yeah, that is earlier than we anticipated. He's still got enough fuel for another lap, or maybe 2, but probably 1.
Very
2 laps,
slow
yeah. So he had
into the
enough
pit.
fuel left for 2 laps. 27%,
Oh.
no, it was only 1 lap.
He's compromised a bit. He's got the first pit box, which means he was having to come in at about 40 kilometers an hour to get the car turned into the pit box.
Well, let's see how long Angela's already gone past, so we kind of knew, and he's got the whole pit stop to do as well. So it's going to be Angela then is your de facto leader, just waiting for the cars in front to pit. Matt Townsend currently leading the race, will be in at the end of this lap. Dave Wood 2nd position and Dan Tomlinson 3rd. All of those 3 drivers will be in at the end of this lap. Scotty crosses the line with 3 laps of fuel at current usage, so we'll make it to the end on that fuel load. And Anton's going to come out nearly 30 seconds behind.
Something was very odd with Anton's car as he came out of the pits there. It was topping out at 50 kilometers an hour. So I'm pretty sure... Oh, he's got a stop go.
Oh no.
Oh, it can't have been... He must have sped on his way out of the pits. I don't think he had the pit limiter engaged.
Oh no. Oh, that's such a shame for Anton. It's such a good drive as well. And that's going to drop him... Well, that's going to drop him substantially down the order, actually.
Yeah.
Because all the cars in front of him just have to do their splash, so he's looking at best 8th.
Yeah, that's going to drop him right.
That's such a shame. An oNiD regular nowadays. Him and Alan.
Yeah, he's accidentally disengaged his pit limiter.
Oh. Well, I can only imagine the choice language that is going on in that rig right now.
Yep. I've done the same. I went to a while back. I went to hit my pit request button, hit the pit limiter instead as on the way in. And got the wrong one. So it was no, I went to hit my pit limiter, hit the pit request button instead. Yeah, and he's just absolutely torn out of his pit box at 100 kilometers an hour.
That has opened it up then for Matt to bring home a second position, to confirm his place as second in the series, and that's also opened up for Dave Woods for a podium for Dave. So a little bit of redemption for Dave after he did have a podium earlier in the season, but has had 3 difficult races outside of that, along with a midfield finish. So he'll be on for his second podium of the season, and that'll bring Dan Tomlinson up into 4th. So close to his first podium, but you know, there's still 6 minutes left. Apparently anything can happen. We've still got track limits. We haven't seen the track limit penalties that we know of, and you know, we're seeing penalties for speeding in the pit lane as well. So still time to go for anything to happen. But Matt is going to be in this lap. All of the top 3 will be in this lap, and then we will see just how far in front Scotty is. Is Matt really pushing the boundaries there? That might have been a cheeky one on the outside, but he might have got away with it.
I'm not sure how cut and dry it is. Oh yeah, Matt really
pushing, I think, is the phrase.
Yeah. Depending on how long their stop is, Tyler Hammer could be right in amongst them as they come out here.
I forgot about. Wow, yeah, that's
he's
true.
Quite a way back. He's still about a minute back, but it's like it's even for a short fuel. It's time you stopped, isn't it?
Sorry, I keep on switching because I see yellows, and Zach had a yellow and Reinhard had a yellow, but by the time I've got there, nothing. So I think we've had a legitimate yellow for Francesconi, who's just dropped back a couple of places because of that. Doesn't need to do another pit stop before the end, along with the 2 cars in front. So that is a fight for 15th, 16th, and 17th. Angela leads away.
Dave Woods picked Townsend in the pits.
Dave done that then?
I think Townsend has a little bit of panel damage. Unless you turn it off before you come into the pits, it starts to repair it automatically, and you have to hit backspace to cancel it, and then it takes a couple of seconds for it to go, oh yeah, you've said cancel.
So this is Tyler coming across the line, overtakes Max Fowler, who's just exiting the pit lane. So yeah, Tyler, 5 seconds off the back of Dan, and in 5th position. Fantastic for him. He's up what, 8 places?
He's come from a long way back there.
Well, the strategy's worked. He's made it work and gained some time. We obviously know now that Scotty is 35 seconds in the lead. Dave Wood, who was lapping slower than Matt Townsend in that second stint, has now a 2-second gap back to Matt Townsend, who has, in effect, a lap and a half left to try and close the gap and make a move to take second.
Absolutely. I'm just looking at Scotty's fuel. She's got 26.7%, 1.5 laps worth. She's going to be crossing the line she's got in plenty of time to fuel save, so she's probably not too worried. She's going to have to do a little bit just to get across the line.
I think, by the look of it, she's fuel saved every single lap of the race, and to be honest, as a man of experience, unfortunately, once you get into that routine of fuel saving, it's very hard to get out of it. So, to be honest, I'd have done exactly what Scotty's doing here. If you've got a fuel saving, you know where you're lifting, you know where you're braking, and it's working for you, I think, you just stick to it. You don't want to move away from it, because we saw with Leon earlier, I'm not entirely sure that's what happened with Leon, but you can see it looked like he had to lift a coat and coast into this corner here, and obviously it just threw him off a little bit, and he made the mistake that ended up in the wall. So once you're in the zone with these things, it's very difficult to comfortably get out of it. And so
her average fuel usage has gone up, by 0.1%. So clearly she's pushing now.
Yeah, she's got one lap after this.
Yeah.
34-second lead, and Matt Townsend has closed that gap down to Dave to nearly seconds now. So Matt in full send mode, I think, after that little mistake or whatever cost him the time in the pit stop. I don't know whether he put in loads more fuel. I won't know until they cross the line. I'm sure my Ben here can.
He's got 2.2 laps worth of fuel, 39.6% VE. In Dave's car, 30% in Matt Townsend. So he's fine to get to the finish. Dave's easily fine to get to the finish. In fact, he's overfueled. Scotty is coming across the line with 90.2% of VE left. She's using 16.3. She's got margin to push this lap.
Is this where you just see her push and suddenly just do the fastest lap of the race or something silly?
Yeah, wasn't it?
So. On screen, this is your fight for second place. Dave just pulling out a little bit through the Porsche curves. Matt will be hoping that through here and through the first sector he can close the gap to try and get within the toe of Dave down the Mulsanne, but it's going to be very, very hard push to as they go on to the final lap. These two fighting for second and third. Dan Tomlinson a comfortable fourth place, and Tyler really brought himself back into it in fifth. I think Schlick has lost a place. I think that might have been my timing screen having a little bit of a blip there. It was showing at 0 gap, and then suddenly it's 5 seconds. So we'll ignore that. We'll shift you back to Dave. Needs to keep it nice and clean through here. Make sure he gets onto the Mulsanne without running out wide or making a mistake through here. Critical to get as good a run onto the straight as possible, which he does.
And our last pit stopper of the race is in. It's Friend Dorich in P9, who's
couldn't quite make it.
Yeah, came into the pits with 1% of fuel left.
Oh, so I think I'm assuming Friend needed to do some. Maybe was a little bit out of sync somewhere.
Yeah,
and it just fallen short by 1 lap, unfortunately.
I think that when Scotty crossed the line, it would have put onto an extra lap that he hadn't accounted for, looking at the maths that he did. Because if you're finishing at, if you're coming to the finish line exactly at 1%, you've done your maths there.
Yes. This is Fusigan. I think he's slightly short on fuel, and he's having to majorly lift. So he's just lost a place to Christian Slink, and I think Petr Jelinek's going to get him as well.
Yeah, he's going to have to pit.
For him, so it'll be interesting when he comes over the line. He was very close on fuel. His last lap was 13.7% on fuel. So he's obviously been in a period of fuel saving. We've missed that, but if he gets to the end, then well done, because
he's not even looking at the throttle on the way down to the. And he's carrying on. He's coming across the line.
You've committed at this point. You've got to.
Yeah, 15.7% fuel.
You've got.
He's not even splash and dashing here. It's like that.
If you pit, you're guaranteed to lose another spot or two to Alan and David. So got to plough on. This is Dave coming up to Indianapolis, and he has Matt Townsend really looming in his mirrors. I think it might be a bit too late, but you never do know. As Scotty absolutely cruising, coming through the last few corners now. What's this? Scotty's third race of the season, as of coming in mid-season.
Yeah.
A solid result in the first race. I think she had a bit of an issue in the second, if I'm remembering correctly. Probably. I can't remember. Yeah. I can't see on the standings, but
she's going to cross the line with 0.2 laps worth of fuel left.
Fantastic result. So Angela Scotty with the win. So she's only done one other race, I think, according to the standings, where she finished 8th, coming home with a solid victory. The one person that's managed to make the two-stopper work somehow. We didn't think it was possible. Admittedly, we haven't done any laps, so we were basing it on previous lap times and things. Dave Wood is going to hold on to second position. Oh, yes, he is. Matt Townsend very sprightly through the last corner, just a little bit too sprightly and making a mistake at the end. But Dave Wood with his best result of the season coming home in second. Matt Townsend crosses the line, takes second overall, third in the race, so second overall in the series. And Dan Tomlinson just missing out on the podium, but as you can see, I think he's pretty happy with that one. He's got the effectively wingless McLaren over the line in one piece for his best on the season as well.
Tyler Hammer in P5 as well.
Yeah, fantastic.
Absolute cruise through.
Yep, and I think that one does deserve a donut. Yes. A gravel donut. Yeah, to anyone that doesn't know, you do only get 30 seconds to do your donuts on LMU before it returns to the pit lane after crossing the line. But yeah, we can understand why Tyler's very happy with that one. Max coming home in sixth, a solid result, just lost out into fifth at the end to Tyler. Anton Semenga still comes home in seventh after that late penalty, so shame for him, but still with a seventh possession finish will pretty much tie up fifth in the championship for him ahead of Dan Tomlinson. Zach Silver, after leading briefly at the start, just having a few issues. We've still got a couple of cars to come across the line.
Reinhardt and Frane Doric raced to the line there. Frane Doric set the fastest middle sector on his final lap there.
It's funny when you're in a tow or just no fuel in the car, absolutely smashing it around. This is Gallardi coming to the end. We might as well watch these cars on track. It's a long lap, but I can't bring up the results anyway until it's done. So, well done to Fabio. Took part in all 6 races of the season, I believe. First season with oNiD that I'm aware of. Yep, and was raced at every single race. So, congratulations, Fabio. This is his best result of the season as well. So, congratulations to Fabio on that 11th place finish. His previous best was 17th. We have a wild Charlie Morgan in Lexus coming around, looking like he's going to come home in 16th. I'm sure he will be a little bit disappointed, but he's got to the end in one piece, which I think is a bit of success for some drivers today. It has been extremely difficult on the cars.
It's usually how I measure success, if I'm honest.
I've missed. This is Fusigan still saving a massive amount of fuel. Alan has caught up 20 seconds. Do you think Matthias is just going to put the hammer down now to try and hold on to it?
Yeah, he's got enough to go to the line.
No crazy sense. He's thinking about it. Undercut him.
12.2% VE usage.
Wow, across the line then. Fusigan comes across the line with basically no fuel. Comes home in 14th. A solid result given that he had to save so much in that last stint. Alan Axon comes home in 15th position. Charlie Morgan will be just behind them in 16th. And then we have Olaf Badej in 17th in one of the Aston Martins. This is joint best result of the season as well. So congratulations, Olaf. And then our final finisher will be David Francesconi, who got involved in a few little bits and bobs here and there, but he's going to come home in 18th position, and that's going to knock him up a few places in the standings as well, up in towards the top 20. So congratulations to him as well. And that's it. That's the season. Wow.
That has been a bit of a blinder that season.
Well, it helps when I don't show the qualifying results. That's not the practice results. It still doesn't want to do this. So for those that don't know, the LMU overlay is a little bit broken at the minute, so the gaps are going to be wrong. But yeah, that is your finishing order for the race. Angela Scotti with the victory with the two-stop strategy. Dave Wood in second, Matt Townsend in third, Dan Tomlinson fourth, Tyler Hammer in fifth, Max Farrell in sixth, Anton Semenga seventh, Zach Silver eighth, Stefan Reinhardt in ninth, and Frane Doric was in 10th. Fabio Gallardi coming home in 11th position, Christian Slink in 12th, Petr Jelinek in 13th, Matthias Fusigan with I assume, air running that car at the end of it, with that fuel saving in the last stint in 14th. Alan Axon in 15th in Lexus. Charlie Morgan in 16th. Olaf Baderish in 17th. David Francesconi in 18th. And then we're only 18 finishers with 27 cars initially doing qualifying. Leon Vesperas, Elvin Blomqvist, both DNF'd. Nick Manders with the biggest crash of the day, I think, at the end of the Mulsanne with no rear wing. Alfie, we lost somewhere, not entirely sure what happened to him after the initial damage. No. Dave, we saw limping around without a rear wing and a wheel at one point. Athel with the mistake on the first lap, which put him out of contention. And then we had 3 either disconnects or no starts, which was Amadeo Pagioni, Dean Smith and Florian Browers.
No. In the meantime, I was waiting for the server to close so I could pull through the provisional standings. And obviously any post-race stewarding will still be in there, but we have, as we suspected, Christian Kiesig 372 points clear, a full 60 points clear at the top. Matt Townsend comes in P2 with 312 points. Athel Baskar comes in P3 with 293. From Alfie Bevan in P4 with 288. And finally, in the top 5, Anton Tomenga with 258. So it was very close in that fight for second place, but Matt Townsend did come out on top on that one.
Yeah, Matt Townsend then really benefiting. So I don't think he'd have been too unhappy with losing that time in the pit stop, because in the end a third was more than enough to bring him right back through into second. He was in second for quite a long time at the start of the season, so or second and third. So he's jumped into second at the last race of the season when all the drop rounds are done. Obviously, as Ben said, this is pending any post-race stewarding. But our other races, Dan Tomlinson in 6th, Tyler Hammer flies up the order actually into 7th overall, Fran Dorich in 8th, Dave Wood in 9th, and Alan Axon in 10th. That was Le Mans Mulsanne. I think that went as about how we expected in many ways with the level of the issues, but I can't quite remember the last time I saw 4 cars go wide going down the Mulsanne on LMU, but we saw it today.
I'll never let it be said that our drivers aren't ambitious.
Well, Dan in chat saying that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I can imagine holding on to that McLaren for 65 minutes was particularly interesting. I'm not sure everyone would agree with you. But yeah, a fantastic season. Obviously, this was something a little bit different. And Mondays will be something a little bit different with some different commentators. Although you're doing it again next season, aren't you, Ben?
Yeah, I'm sticking around.
Yeah, you're sticking around. I've decided that I'm going to go and do another race and show you all how not to use a certain car that I don't think it's been fully announced yet. So I'm not going to mention what's happening on Mondays, but it is extremely exciting. So I'm really looking forward to that. But it's been a fantastic season this season. If you want more Le Mans, we're racing at because Monday, Wednesday, and Sundays are all LMU. This season we've done the same track each week, but different configurations where possible in all 3 series. So if you want more Le Mans, I think it's the Mulsanne again on Wednesday with the Academy, which is going to be entertaining. And then on Sunday you've got the LMU 100 series part 2, which I think is on the more standard version of Le Mans for 100 minutes there. So, but expect to say good racing. Le Mans always opens up some opportunities for different strategies, different setups. So it should be really interesting. And then the other streams this week, we've got tomorrow is round 5 of the British stock cars.
It is indeed.
Then on Thursday we have the last round of the iRacing GT3. So all of the series are finishing this week, aside from the British stock cars, which is a week behind after a week gap. So Make sure you tune in for the rest of them. But it's been an absolute pleasure this season, Ben. We were saying before, we've never done comms apart from in endurance races together, so it's been a good fun.
Yes, it's been really good, and it's been very enjoyable racing as well. To watch some chaotic GT3 fun on a Monday.
Exactly. Well, don't worry, folks. You're going to have more chaotic fun on a Monday. I'm not going to ruin what the surprise is for that one, but if you are a racer and you want to take part, the season 5 announcements will be happening very soon. They're just with our Patreon at the minute, so they're not formally announced, and they will be out very soon in the coming days. So keep an eye on the Discord and our SimGrid page for those. That will be starting the week starting the 1st of September, and next week there will be some social events to cover the gap in season. So again, watch out for those. Not announced yet, but they will be out. So get involved in some rather funky things. Have you decided what you're doing? Oh no, we're not doing anything for.
We're not doing one for the stuff. No, we had a
week.
The servers went silly, so we're having we had a week off, and we're just going straight from one season to the other, which will be interesting for all of us, I'm sure.
Yes, it will be very interesting when people find out what next season is as well on a Tuesday. So that's going to be entertaining with some really nice track choices as well, keeping a set of course fresh as ever. But yeah, we'll say goodbye now. So thanks very much for watching. If you've been with us for all the Mondays, do appreciate it. Thanks to everyone taking part as well. It's been a really, really competitive season, and yeah, thanks to Ben as well. So
and thanks to you, Ben, for
putting
the stream on.
I occasionally stream. It's fine. Ben, tune in tomorrow, and you can see Ben on track. Until next
That's
time.
Not an appealing prospect.
Until next time. Thanks very much, everyone. Have a good evening.